This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted today to be joined with Mr. Kid Austin himself, Floyd Schofield. It's been a month or so after your fight, a couple months. How are you feeling, man? How's things?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just happy to be back training now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, after sort of sustaining that cut, was it sort of frustrating being out of the gym, or was it good to sort of take some time off?
Yeah, it was very frustrating because I couldn't be in the sun. I had to stay home. I couldn't do any type of activities to like anything that could cause straining to my face. Like I went to ride roller coasters and I found out I couldn't even do that. So I'm like, man, what can I do? So my plastic surgeon just gave me the go to continue training now. So I'm happy.
100%. I assume you're sort of one of these people that, even after a fight, you're still back in the gym, you're still grinding away. So it must have been sort of frustrating not to be able to do that.
Yeah, because you never know when you're gonna get that call. But I kind of figured that I wouldn't be getting the call anytime soon because everybody was waiting for my cut to heal. But I still have that mentality, like I need to be training so I can always be ready. So I think that was more the frustrating part, just sitting around. You can't really enjoy meals now because you can't work them off. So it was a headache, but I'm glad it's over now. By the time I can do stuff, I'm already back in training camp.
100%, definitely. And another thing with you is, even in these sorts of fights, it's good to sort of, I know must have been frustrating, but to get a cut like that and to go through that sort of adversity, that must be good learning for yourself.
Oh yeah, I knew like a long time ago if I were to ever get cut, knocked down, I'll be able to bounce back. It's a fight, so multiple things can happen at once. So I mean, like I said, it's a fight. Cuts happen, dirty things happen, but at the end of the day, you gotta keep pushing if you want the victory.
Is it good to get learning like this, even when you're coming through? So eventually, when you're atop at the world titles, that you already know how to maneuver yourself. You already know what it's like to feel when you're going through things that it's like these are all learning for eventually when you do get to the top. You've already, you've seen this already, so you know exactly how to deal with it when it comes.
Oh yeah, we've seen like I've had to go through adversity, in the gym, in the amateurs. So, you know, in the pros, it made it where it's like it's nothing I've been through before. I've never had a cut like that, but you know, it's all up here, mental. So.
100%, and especially when you do get cut like that, is it sort of a lot of panic when you first deal with it? But I suppose the mental side, you need to keep calm, even though you know that something's going a bit mad now.
Yeah, it was kind of when it first happened. I didn't realize I got cut because I'd never been cut before, so I never knew what it felt like. I didn't feel anything. It just felt like he hit me with his head. Um, but then it started like trickling down. And I was like in my head, I'm like, why am I sweating so hard?
Yeah.
Like what? But then I could taste it. I'm like, it started tasting like metal. I'm like, oh, I'm cut. But I didn't think it was that bad until I looked at the monitor up top, and that's when I knew like that's a pretty deep cut. But my team was like, it don't matter. Like it's the last round. So.
And then when you look now, you're back training, you're back kicking on. How much do you want to push on this year after, you're on the verge, you're number 5 in the WBA, you're really, really pushing on now to potential big fights. So when you look going forward, how much do you really want to push on?
I want to keep pushing. Oscar, Golden Boy, Bernard, my dad, they all give me the fights. If they want me to have one more fight this year, that's cool. If they want me to have four, I would love that. But it's all like Oscar told me. It's all about taking our time. I'm young. We got a lot of stuff to build, but they're gonna keep me busy, especially throughout next year. I can say, but for this year,
got one more fight.
yeah, for this year I can say one more fight.
100%. And obviously, we'll talk about your professional team and your team in general. Being with guys like Oscar, Bernard, your dad, and everyone like that. How important is it to have such a solid team around you, and especially guys like Oscar and Bernard, who you grew up watching them, and they're so much inspirations to you, and now that they're actually guiding your career.
It's super, good, especially, having my dad here and then the two legends there to help me out. Like, how can you not become great with a team like that? The sky's the limit. So,
But we still got other ones, Jeff.
Oh yeah, of course, my personal team, my strength coach, Cameron Davies, all of them.
Dietitian.
My dietitian. It's a lot. It's a lot. But without that team, like, I probably wouldn't be what I'm doing right now.
And what's that father-son relationship like? How strong do you think that bond is? It's something that, it's very, very hard to compare to anything.
Um, it's cool because like I've been around my dad forever, so it's like it just comes natural for me. So like I don't think a lot of father and sons can do it because at the end of the day, it's still kind of hard, and that's why you don't see a lot of father son duos in the sport. Um, but for us, it's pretty. I mean, like when it comes to this boxing stuff, we like best friends. I mean, he tells me what to do, I listen to it, and it just works. Like, we've been
Yeah,
doing it so long, it's like it's like it's already locked in. So.
100%. And obviously, your dad being there, sort of speaking to you, you've grown up with him, you know what it's like. How good is it to have someone that you have such a close connection with and you know him so well, even though, even in training and fighting, you know what he's made of and you know what his character's like.
I mean, it's just like any parent and their child. Sometimes I could be coached, and sometimes I could be dad. And it's hard. It's one thing if a boxer have just a coach. Sometimes they could say a bit of no, but it's hard when it's your dad. You can't say no. You got to do it. So it's a little more challenging for him, but he's getting through it good. I love well.
Exactly as you said there, with it being your father as well, when you've got that you've got that unconditional love, but you also know what's best for him. I suppose, does it make it harder when you have sort of hard decisions to make and this, like that?
What do you mean a hard decision like what?
Like, I don't know. I suppose like it's hard to say, but like say if he has hard decisions to make in his career and this and that, whether it be with like sort of different teams, do you find it hard to sort of like how do you deal with that in terms of being professional as well as being a father and knowing what's best for him?
You have to give me an example of what you're talking about, and then I could put you in that scenario because it could be a lot of things. Like you're talking about picking a fight, like if he's going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah. I was literally just about to say like picking a fight. Yeah.
Like if it was a fight, I know he could beat all the champions out there, so I'm not worried about that because I've been in the gym where he had to get them ready for their fight, so I know what he could do to the Shakur, the Devin, the Tank, and all that because he was in there with them. So for me as a parent, I think I'm more relaxed on that. And like when he got a headbutt, it didn't bother me. This is the fight game. I raised him up knowing that them people in there to try to kill him, and his job is to be to stop those people. So I'm prepared for whatever happened in that ring.
100%. And having growing up with boxing and being it all your life, I'm sure you saw when he was sort of first born, was it sort of no choice? He had to be a boxer?
He's a third generation. He third generation boxer. Like my father taught me to fight, and he taught me how to be a coach to teach him. And we've been doing it 19 years now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll go back.
20 now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same age as me, mate. Same age as me. So, moving on to your sort of yourself, Floyd. There, your dad talking about there about potential fights and this and that, and you said you want one more. A name that you've always said is Jojo Diaz. That's it, on the same promotion, same weight. How big of a fight do you think that could be, especially in your career, of a test like that with who he's been in with?
I think it's gonna be big because I think that's gonna be a big stepping stone. Jojo got a couple of losses, but they're to, well, like pretty big names. That'll be like a good test for me. Everybody says, and once I get past him, then I feel like people have to give me my respect. And like maybe he's not just all hype, and they'll be wanting to see my next fight.
100%.
But I don't want JoJo.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't want JoJo.
Why not? Who do you want?
Like Zepeda are the top ones, the champion. I mean, the thing is, they don't know him. So as a young fighter that could generate hundreds of millions, they want to be patient, because they're going to generate a lot of money. But if they really knew him, like I know him, we got over 200 some fights together. I think if they put him up against one of these champions, like even Shakur, what he would do to Shakur, I think he would become a legend. He'll do like what Ali did to Liston, and when Ali became a young champion.
And but is it also important to know that there's timing with everything and everything has to be the right time? So potential fights when you talk about Shakur, Tank, all these guys that the timing has to be right. I know you may think he's ready now, but then in the future it could be even a bigger fight, sort of next year or sort of 18 months time.
They say the only thing that deal with timing is they'll say he get his grown man strength. He'll get his grown man body by 24. The frontal cortex develop, so he'll make real logical decisions, and that's good. It'd be great for him to win the title there, but that don't make history. As a 21-year-old without grown man strength, without a frontal cortex, to be able to beat these champions and become undisputed, or have multiple belts, that's the thing that make history. That's the thing where they talk about it. So we going for history. We don't. The money gonna come. We already know that. So why not live it now?
Yeah, 100%. Well, Absolutely, Floyd. And you look at yourself now in the position of fifth in the WBA, and we see that Tank's obviously holding that belt. We don't know what's going on with Devin Haney, if he's going to, we know he's talking about fighting pro grade at 140, but we don't know if he's going to be staying in that. You look at we're pushing on for 2024, and you took at the lightweight division as a whole of how many big names that there are. You must be licking your lips in the future about potential opponents, that there could be so many big fights that could be made there.
Oh yeah, and like we work hard. This is what we worked for our whole lives, and like I say, time's gonna tell. I could say all this stuff now. My dad can say all this stuff now. People don't gotta believe it, but sooner or later, I'm gonna have to live up to what we. Oh, he's just stepping out for a minute. Sooner or later, we're gonna have to live up to what we say. So I mean, that's why, my dad, he be talking, I be talking. And at the end of the day, we just don't let it get to our heads. Like, we still got to work. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for that day where I can get in the ring with one of those guys and be like, I told you I said.
100%. And not even just yourself, you see the guys who hold the belts now, guys like Shakur, Devin, Tank, who've held world title belts, but even guys like yourself, where you look at yourself, you look at Frank Martin, you look at Keyshawn. Obviously, you and Keyshawn are a little bit of back and forth. So even in the future, there could be a big fight there, especially with you and Keyshawn, or even Frank Martin and all the other names I've previously mentioned.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like, since we're all kind of like close in the rankings, like I'm gonna have to fight. I would love to fight everybody in that division. Especially the ones above me. Then they can't say that I didn't accomplish anything. So I actually want to prove to everybody I'm the best. I don't just want to say I'm the best and get handouts. Like, I want to fight the top guys, beat them, and then, get my respect.
100%. Especially like being from America, and you see how many big fights that happen in America, and we see Spence Crawford, we see Tank Garcia, this and that. When you're coming up and in your amateur career, and especially now as yourself as a pro, how much would you say you sort of manifest and you think about, one day, this will be me in these big nights. Everyone's going to be buying the pay-per-views for me, and they're going to be flocking to the MGM, T-Mobile for Floyd Schofield.
And the amateurs, I wasn't really thinking like that. I was kind of just having fun in the amateurs. It was kind of like I want to say a game, but it was like, you go to the amateurs, you go to tournaments, you see all your different friends there. Like, y'all just cool. Y'all just, you win, you lose, you go home. I feel like once I got to that training camp with Devin, right when I was about to turn pro, that's when it kind of like got serious in my head, because it was like, oh man, like I'm a kid doing sport, Devin Haney, WBC champion, like. So that's when it really kicked in, like, like I gotta be focused and I can really do this. So, but yeah, in the amateurs, I wasn't thinking like that. It's like when I got to like 16, 17, that's when I, knew that, I was going to be something in the sport.
And where you talked about a training camp with Devin Haney, how much do you think you learned from that, being 16, 17 and seeing someone like Devin training with him? How much do you think you learned from that?
I learned a lot. I learned I can, make a name in this sport. That training camp gave me a lot of confidence, and then especially seeing how hard they work. They run the mountains almost every weekend. Like, it was a good learning experience being there, and not just saying his, like all the training camps I've been in, I got to grab a bunch of different things from everybody and like just put it in me. So I actually got to see how hard they work, and I have to actually work harder than that, or just as hard, if I want to be on that level. So it kind of gave me a sense of like what I need to do in the sport to at least become a champion.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And when I said there about, we was alluding to sort of Keyshawn and other names, is it good for your name to be attached to, and Keyshawn's name to be attached like you? Because if you think in the future, that could cause for a massive fight, even though sort of having a back and forth now, and I'm sure some of it is respectful, but in the future, to have your name attached with these guys, that the big lights will be coming.
Oh yeah, just to be in the talks with him is a good thing. Like, all respect to Keyshawn.
And just for them to be in the talks with you.
Oh yeah, but I'm not saying Keyshawn.
I'm talking about Keyshawn, like,
no,
Keyshawn
I'm talking about,
ain't even in the.
I'm talking about with the Shakurs and all the undisputed champion, like all of them. Like,
but your name already tied with them, because you got them ready for their fights.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So it's like all that's been established. We don't need their names.
Yeah,
we coming for our belts.
It's still a good thing to be attached with them. Because everybody.
They're gonna run. Devin running, Tank running.
I'm saying everybody thinks that they're the guys. Nobody's really saying Kid Austin is the guy above them.
Yeah.
So for me to just even be in the talks, even with the people that don't really like me or haters, or you might say, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Kid Austin's up there." No, that's still a good thing to hear.
And you said there, do you feel so? You talked about the haters there and people that aren't really saying your name. Do you feel sometimes there's people that throwing a disrespect to you?
I wouldn't say it's disrespect. I feel like they just got their opinions, like, because I mean, I haven't really seen comments where it was like disrespectful. It's just like Kid Austin ain't ready, stuff like that, and it's like that's cool. Who am I to tell you that you can't have that opinion? But it all comes back to one day I'm gonna have to get in that ring and just show them, you know, I am what I say I am. So I'm looking forward to that day.
Do you use that as motivation, or do you use it in a way where it's like, I don't even care, I'm not even going to listen to it?
Not really, because at the end of the day, you know, they don't pay my bills. You know, they don't make sure my family's straight. So all their opinions can matter. I'm doing it. You know, my motivation is, you know, giving my family a better life, giving me a better life. Um, so their opinions, I could care less. I mean, and my fans, of course, the ones who are supporting me, I'm doing it for them. But people got negative things to say, they don't bother me. They don't motivate me.
100%. Well, I was going to say just to both of you, I really appreciate you joining me over Zoom. So I appreciate you joining me on a Sunday, and it's yeah, it's good, really good to chat to you, and I hopefully definitely be catching up soon when the big lights are coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, man.